So these are the kinds of graphs that we will be discussing in today's class. These are like very important for NEET, JE, which is JE mains and JE advanced, and your school's exams as well. So please listen to them very carefully. This straight line is like the most important, then parabola, then the rectangular hyperbola. This circle and ellipse you will encounter just one or two times, but these three, straight line, parabola and hyperbola, are like very important. So let's start our discussion with the first one, which is a straight line. So we want to know that what kind of function gives us a graph which looks like a straight line. Straight line का ग्राफ किस टाइप के फंक्शंस हमें देते हैं? तो just remember the power of y and the power of x should be linear. That means the power of y and power of x should be 1. This is the most basic condition, which means if you are given with, let's say, y is equals to x cube, this can never be a straight line. The condition is that the power of y and power of x should be 1. There should be a relation जिसमें कि ये power 1 है. One thing more, it cannot be like y is equals to 2 upon x, because यहाँ पर x का पावर 1 तो है, but they are not related like that. They are related something of y is equals to 2, and you will write this as x raised to power minus 1. So this will also not be considered as a straight line. For straight line, they should be linearly related to each other, and by saying linearly related, their powers, which is y raised to power and x raised to power, their power should be 1. उनका 1 पावर होना चाहिए. Only then, in that case only, they will be a straight line. Then how to identify what kind of straight line we will get? Just remember a golden rule which says that always convert your equation in a form where you get something like y is equals to mx plus c. Always convert your equation in this form. किसी भी फॉर्म में आपका इक्वेशन गिवन है, just remember that you have to convert your equation in this form. By saying this, I mean that कि आपको equals to के y एक तरफ रखना है, बाकी सब टर्म्स को दूसरी तरफ रखना है. जो कांस्टेंट टर्म होगा, which is this one, this is called as y intercept. This will be the value where that straight line will be intersecting the y axis. Y axis को इतना वैल्यू पर इंटरसेप्ट करेगा, and this m is basically the slope of that straight line. So let's say if you are given with an equation which is something like 2x plus 3y minus 7 is equals to 0. This is your equation, और आपको ये तो श्योर हो गया है कि दिस इज ए स्ट्रेट लाइन इक्वेशन, बिकॉज y और x की जो पावर्स हैं दे आर लीनियरली रिलेटेड. बट वो ग्राफ किस तरीके का दिखेगा, फॉर दैट you have to convert this equation in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. And when you will convert this, what you will get is you have to keep y on the one side. y को आपको एक तरफ रखना है और बाकी सब टर्म्स को दूसरी तरफ ले जाना है. So this will something look like 3y is equals to minus 2x plus 7. Then if you break it further, you will get y is equals to minus 2 by 3x plus 7 by 3. This is the kind of equation you will get. From where you can conclude that its slope, which is m, is minus 2 by 3. and its y-intercept, which is c value, that is equals to 7/3. These are the two values. In all cases, you just have to check that what is the value of m and what is the value of c. This value of c signifies where the straight line will intersect y-axis. y-axis को वो कहां पर इंटरसेक्ट करेगा? That will be through c, and through m we will get an idea about angle that straight line makes with x axis के साथ वो स्ट्रेट लाइन कैसा एंगल बना रहा है, that will be identified through m. तो c means y intercept, कि y axis को कहां पर इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा होगा, है ना, and m is slope, basically its name is slope, and its name is y intercept. Then if you wish to draw such type of graph, तो अभी आपके पास c का वैल्यू तो आ गया है फिक्स्ड, विच इज 7/3. तो अभी c के वैल्यू में तो अपने को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? प्लीज कंफर्म. ग्रेट. तो अभी अपने को c के वैल्यू में तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, एंड दिस वैल्यू ऑफ m सिग्निफाइज द एंगल दैट इट मेक्स विद x एक्सिस. नाउ just discuss some conditions, like if this m is greater than 0, that means if this m is positive, अगर ये m positive है, that means the angle with x axis is less than 1, less than 90 डिग्री. 90 डिग्री से अभी ये कम एंगल बना रहा होगा if value of m is positive. And this is because I hope you remember that we have discussed slope in applications of differentiation, and there I told you that value dy by dx, that was coming to be equals to tan theta, and I told you that it is represented by m, which is slope of a straight line. Even that can be discussed here, that if you have equation of a straight line as y is equals to mx plus c, and you differentiate this equation, the value you will get is dy by dx, and that will be equals to m remains as it is, x का differentiation 1 हो जाएगा और c का differentiation 0 हो जाएगा, because that is a constant. That means this dy by dx is basically equals to m. And please remember that for the first quadrant every angle was positive, every trigonometric ratio was positive, like sin theta, cos theta, सब लोग वहां पर positive थे. But in the second quadrant this tan theta was negative. That is why I am saying that if m is greater than 0, that means if m is positive, so angle has to be in the first quadrant to keep this tan theta positive. Similarly, if this m is less than 0, that means if it is negative, so angle would be greater than 90 degree. Finally, if you want me to draw this graph, which is this 2x plus 3y minus 7 is equals to 0, so first we confirm that their power, which is like x raised to 1 or y raised to 1, that means it is confirmed that it is the graph for straight line. Then we calculated values for m and c by comparison. Then once we get these values m and c, then we will conclude that this value of m, which is negative, that means the angle that this straight line will make with x-axis would be greater than 90 degrees. And this value of c is fixed, which is 7/3. So if you wish to draw this graph will look something like that. We have one x-axis, we have one y-axis, and the things that are fixed are, this is your positive x-axis, this is your positive y-axis, and the value of c, which is y-intercept, is fixed and is 7/3. So if you wish to locate this c is equals to 7/3 on y-axis, this value is something greater than 2, है ना. आप इसे सॉल्व करोगे तो ये 2 से थोड़ा सा ज्यादा आएगा. तो लेट्स से इफ वी ड्रॉ दिस, और ये यहाँ पर आ जाता है, दिस इज 0,7/3, ऐसा कुछ है. देन ये हमें पता चल गया है दैट दिस वैल्यू c is 7/3 और ये पॉजिटिव है, तो मैंने ये ऊपर बना दिया. Then we know that the value of m, which is I think -2/3, which is negative, that means the angle this this straight line which will be passing from this point will make is greater than 90 degrees. That is why I am drawing this graph in this form, because if you draw this straight line something like this, you will get that this angle is greater than 90 degree. Because अभी आपको एंगल ड्रॉ करना तो आता है ना. कैसे एंगल ड्रॉ करते हैं? इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन, है ना. लेट मी राइट दिस. एंगल is always measured in anti-clockwise direction from positive x-axis. So this is your theta and this value is greater than 90 degrees. This is how you can draw these graphs. Only just by knowing these values, which is value of y-intercept, that where that graph will intersect to the y-axis, and this value of slope, which shows that what is the angle that it will make with x-axis. Have you got the point how you have to draw this straight line? Very good. Another point can be, just think that कि अपने पास जो इक्वेशन था, that was 2x plus 3y minus 7 is equals to 0. So let us write this equation here. This was 2x minus 3y, just a second, it was 2x plus 3y minus 7. So it is 2x plus 3y minus 7 is equals to 0. At last what you can do is, you can put x is equals to 0 and you will get your y as y-intercept. तो यहाँ पर अगर आप x को 0 पुट करोगे तो y comes out to be 7/3, which is the value of y-intercept. This one. If you put y is equals to 0, then the value of x you are going to get is something like 7/2. अरे y को 0 पुट कर दोगे तो x का वैल्यू 7 को दूसरी तरफ लेकर जाओगे तो 7/2 आ जाएगा. दैट मीन्स दिस ग्राफ, in this graph the value at which it is intersecting the x axis is basically the positive value, है ना. ये 7/2 which is like slightly it is equals to 3.5. तो this coordinate would be 3.5, 0. तो ऐसे आप बता भी सकते हो कि what is the value through which this graph would be like intersecting this x axis. Are you getting my point? Is this clear to all? Everyone please answer. Arpita, Parnika, everyone. Okay, then great. Then this is the discussion for straight line. You can practice them more, but always remember you have to write it in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. एक बार आपको वो फॉर्म मिल गया तो उसके बाद जस्ट चेक वैल्यू ऑफ m एंड c, तो आपके पास ग्राफ आ जाएगा. ठीक है. वन थिंग मोर, many times you will be given with some different values. Okay, that we will discuss in the last phase की और इसके साथ साथ वो क्या क्या चेंजेस कर सकते हैं. This was the simplest case how you can draw a straight line. Then let's move to the second one, which was the second graph, which was about how to draw a parabola. So in drawing a parabola, we have the most, in drawing the parabola we have the most simplest case in which your equation can be of the form maybe y is equals to k times x square. मतलब आपका एक टर्म स्क्वायर है और एक टर्म लीनियर है. अदर फॉर्म कैन बी y is equals to minus kx square. Other form can be x square is equals to ky, and the last form can be x square is equals to minus ky. These are kind of 4 types of parabola that you can encounter, जो आपको ऐसे बीच में कभी ड्रॉ करने के लिए मिल सकता है. These are the 4 types. These are like fixed. इसके अलावा आपको नहीं पूछने वाला है ना. They can be used like while doing mathematics, लेकिन अभी फिजिक्स में तो नहीं पूछेगा इसके अलावा. ठीक है. So what happens in this case is like how you have to draw the shape of these kinds of functions. We have this y-axis, we have this x-axis, and we have to draw all 4 of them. For the first one, which is y is equals to kx square, always remember the term, just a second, अपन ने y को स्क्वायर किया ही नहीं है किधर भी. जस्ट अ सेकेंड. they can be like y is equals to kx square or x is equals to ky square, or x is equals to minus ky square. These are like 4 types. So the main point is that one term is squared and the other term is linear. Like x का स्क्वायर है y लीनियर है, या फिर y का स्क्वायर है x लीनियर है, या फिर एक कोई उनमें से नेगेटिव है. दिस इज हाउ यू कैन थिंक, एंड दिस इज लाइक देयर 4 टाइप्स. अब अगर आपको इसे ड्रॉ करना है तो ऑलवेज सी द लीनियर पार्ट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पर जो फर्स्ट ग्राफ है उसमें लीनियर पार्ट इज y. जो सेकंड ग्राफ है उसमें लीनियर पार्ट इज -y, है ना, बिकॉज माइनस साइन को अपन इधर तो ला ही सकते हैं। सिमिलरली थर्ड पार्ट के लिए लीनियर पार्ट इज x और फोर्थ पार्ट के लिए लीनियर पार्ट इज -x। वंस यू हैव गॉट कंफर्म्ड अबाउट दिस, व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज यू जस्ट हैव टू सी कि जिस तरफ भी आपको लीनियर मिल रहा है, दैट मीन्स जिस भी एक्सिस के अबाउट आपको लीनियर मिल रहा है, the graph will be open towards that side and shape will be same in all the cases. For example, if you draw the first one, which is y is equals to kx square, the shape you will get will be of the form something like this. This is called a parabola, क्योंकि y की तरफ open था because y linear था. Similarly, if you wish to draw y is equals to minus kx square, so this will be simply same and will be towards the negative y axis, so it will look something like this. If you wish to draw y is equals to x is equals to ky square, which is the third one, तो third one को आप ऐसे ड्रॉ कर सकते हो. If you wish to draw the fourth one, now you are perfect in this, so you can draw it something like this. And this looks like a very beautiful design in which we can mention that this one was your first graph, first equation के लिए, this one was your graph for second equation, this one was your graph for third equation, and this one was your graph for fourth equation. These are kind of 4 graphs that you have and you can draw them anytime. Have you got the point? Great. Let's take one example in this. For example, if someone says that you have to draw the graph for velocity and displacement such that, like, if acceleration is constant and u is 0, which is initial velocity. I hope you all have this idea. So we have the third equation to apply because VSA इनकी बात हो रही है ना, तो there is no equation that involves V and S, which is final velocity and displacement. So the equation that we will apply is the third equation, and that will be like V square is equals to U square plus 2AS. सभी को याद है ये इक्वेशन? कैन वी डू दिस एग्जाम्पल ना? बिकॉज अभी वैसे तो अपने को ये इक्वेशन पढ़ना है, बट लाइक ओनली फॉर ड्रॉइंग दिस ग्राफ्स आई वांट यू टू अंडरस्टैंड कि किस तरीके से ये अप्लाई होने वाला है. तो डू यू गाइज नो दिस इक्वेशन? प्लीज कंफर्म यस और नो. ग्रेट. एवरीवन, अयान, पर्णिका, अर्पिता, प्लीज आंसर. Great. So u is given to be 0 in this case. So if u is 0, your graph will be between v square is equals to 2as. And as you can see, because you want graph for v and s, and here the term contains v square and s, that means the shape is going to be a parabola, because एक चीज आपका squared हो गया है. Then when you will draw this graph, it will be something like you have this x-axis, you have this y-axis, you have, let's say, displacement to one side, this side displacement, and you have, let's say, velocity to the other side. Because यहाँ पर v का square है and s is linear, and this 2a is acting like a constant, जैसे ऊपर एक constant होता था. So the graph will be open towards the linear one, which is s displacement. तो उस केस में it will be open towards the s axis, है ना. So this will something look like this. This is the graph that will be for 2 v square is equals to u square plus 2as. Have you got the point? कैसे ड्रॉ किया ये हमने? हाँ, तो सेम यू कैन ट्राई, बाद में आप घर पे ट्राई कर सकते हो. ड्रॉ ग्राफ्स और let's say kinetic energy and velocity such that you know the relation कि kinetic energy is half m v square. ये आपका इक्वेशन है, काइनेटिक एनर्जी इज इक्वल्स टू हाफ एम वी स्क्वायर. ये हम एज्यूम कर रहे हैं कि ये चीज आपको पता है, एंड फ्रॉम दिस यू हैव टू ड्रॉ द ग्राफ. दिस इज काइंड ऑफ होमवर्क फॉर यू टू डू. ठीक है. So these are the types of parabolas that you can draw. Then to the third type, what we have is, third type क्या था? We have like let's say circles. I think. Do you guys remember which one was that? Third. Okay, great. So third one is for circle. Like what would be the function कि आपको सर्कल ड्रॉ करना होगा एज अ ग्राफ. सो टू ड्रॉ अ सर्कल द इक्वेशन विल लुक समथिंग लाइक एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस वाई स्क्वायर is equals to a square. If the function is of this form, then for sure the graph is going to be a circle. So for this function, graph is a circle. Where a is a constant which is its radius. If you wish to draw this, it will look something like this. Although you guys know कि circle कैसा दिखता है, but still we can draw that. Or this will be, this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, and if you are given with such kind of equation, then the graph will look something like this, where this point would be a comma 0, this point would be 0 comma a, similarly minus a comma 0, and final one which is 0 comma minus a. ठीक है. Although the circle has more equations, but this is the simplest one. Again, we are not studying maths, we are just studying a part of it. We are just studying the part that will be used in physics. So I am just telling you those points only which are useful for physics. We are not dealing with all kinds of graphs, like, है ना, मतलब हम सारे टाइप का नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं. वी आर ओनली डीलिंग विद द पार्ट विच विल बी यूज्ड इन फिजिक्स. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द फोर्थ वन. And this fourth one is ellipse. And the kind of equation we have for ellipse is x square upon a square plus y square upon b square is equals to 1. where this a and b are constants. जो a and b है these are constants. So this will be the equation जब आपको ellipse draw करना है, ठीक है. It is mandatory for you to have one on the other side, है ना. इक्वल्स टू के दूसरी तरफ वन ही होना चाहिए, विच मीन्स कि इक्वेशन एग्जैक्टली ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. अगर इससे थोड़ा सा भी डिफरेंट है तो डू नॉट कंसिडर दैट एज एलिप्स, ठीक है. सो जिस तरीके से ड्रॉ होगा दैट इज लाइक वी हैव वन एक्सिस, वी हैव द अदर एक्सिस, and it depends on value of basically value of a and b, है ना. So this will look something like this. मतलब this is not the exact one, but ऐसे थोड़ा सा कोशिश करके देख रहे हैं कि बेसिकली द मेन पॉइंट इज दिस वाज अ सर्कल और आपने इसे ऐसे नीचे से थोड़ा सा दबा दिया है, ऐसा कुछ है, ऐसा कुछ. सो this will be the point where y is 0, that means it is a comma 0, this is minus a comma 0, this is 0 comma b, this is 0 comma minus b. तो अगर ऐसा कोई इक्वेशन मिलेगा तो consider that as ellipse. For example, let's say we have one equation v is equals to omega अंडर रूट ए स्क्वायर माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर, ऐसा कुछ तरह, ठीक है. कंसिडर ओमेगा विच इज दिस डब्ल्यू, एज्यूम डब्ल्यू, अभी तो आप ऐसे ही सोच सकते हो कि डब्ल्यू लिखा हुआ है, एंड दिस डब्ल्यू एंड ए आर कॉन्स्टेंट्स, दीज आर कॉन्स्टेंट्स. And you have to draw graph for v and x. वेलोसिटी और डिस्प्लेसमेंट के लिए ग्राफ बनाना था. तो ऐसे डायरेक्टली देखने में तो कुछ नहीं लग रहा है, डायरेक्टली देखने में अपने को समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है कि किस टाइप का ग्राफ होगा, बट व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू कैन स्क्वायर दिस और उसके बाद थोड़ा सॉल्व करने का कोशिश करते हैं. तो लाइक इफ यू ट्राई टू सॉल्व दिस, व्हाट यू विल गेट इज यू विल गेट v स्क्वायर इज इक्वल्स टू दिस w स्क्वायर टाइम्स a स्क्वायर माइनस x स्क्वायर. Take this omega square to the other side, the value you will get is v square upon omega square plus x square is equals to a square. a square से भी डिवाइड कर देते हैं, so the equation you will get is v square upon a omega whole square plus x square upon a square is equals to 1. Now you can see this equation which looks like the equation of ellipse, which means if you wish to draw this on the axis, जो कि आपको देखने में शुरू में नहीं लगेगा, है ना, like you have to solve it in that way कि वो simplify होने के बाद कैसा दिखाई दे रहा है. So this is your one axis, this is your other axis, and let's say this is your velocity axis, this is your velocity axis, this is your x-axis. Now please see this thing very carefully. If the value which was this a and b, है ना, तो this is the shape which is valid when a is greater than b. And you can also say this कि ऐसे मैंने a को थोड़ा दूर बनाया है और जो b था वो थोड़ा नीचे आ गया है. जस्ट कंपेयर इट टू अ सर्कल. सर्कल को ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैंने वाई एक्सिस की तरफ से ऊपर और नीचे से पकड़कर और ऐसे थोड़ा सा प्रेस किया होगा, तब ये वाला ग्राफ बन गया होगा, है ना. दैट मीन्स you have decreased value of b and you have increased value of a. That means the value of a is greater than b. Similarly, if this value of a was less than b, in that case it would be symmetric along the y axis. मतलब ये जो कम हुआ पार्ट है that will go to y axis. तो उसे भी मैं एक बार ड्रॉ कर देता हूं so that you can learn that. So that will be something like this, है ना. This is the shape when a is less than b and this is the shape when a is greater than b. Are you getting my point? Great. So in this case, as we can see, the value which is with velocity, because it is a omega, although this omega can be greater than 1 or can be less than 1, but we are assuming if this omega was greater than 1, तो ये a omega वाला वैल्यू ज्यादा हो जाएगा, और ज्यादा होने का मतलब we will have a greater value on velocity axis and a lesser value on x axis. So your graph will look something like this one. आपका जो ग्राफ है वो कुछ ऐसा लगने वाला है देखने में, समथिंग लाइक where they will be used in like all chapters, है ना. जस्ट थिंक कि अभी अभी हमने ऊपर एग्जांपल किया था, दैट वाज फ्रॉम काइनेमेटिक्स, है ना. उसके बाद मैंने काइनेटिक एनर्जी का एक आपको होमवर्क में दे दिया. उसके बाद दिस थिंग व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग इज फ्रॉम वन लास्ट चैप्टर. तो बेसिकली आई एम ट्राइंग टू लाइक कन्विंस यू कि ये हर एक चैप्टर में ही आएगा. सो यू हैव टू लर्न दिस वेरी केयरफुली, है ना. दैट इज वाई कि हम इसमें इतना टाइम लगा रहे हैं, सो दैट कि जब ये हर चैप्टर में आएगा तो यू विल बी वेरी कंफर्टेबल. आपको ऐसे देखकर समझ में आ जाएगा कि अच्छा ये तो उस वाले ग्राफ का बात चल रहा है. ठीक है. सो दिस पॉइंट वुड बी a and this point would be minus a, this point would be a omega and this point would be minus a, and this is how your graphs look like. Is this clear to all? Everyone, please answer. Great. Then let's move to the last one, which was fifth one, which is rectangular hyperbola. To which the equation looks like y multiplied by x is constant. That means y का पावर 1 है, x का भी पावर 1 है, बट दे आर इन मल्टीप्लीकेशन. मतलब उनका जो प्रोडक्ट है दैट इज अ कांस्टेंट. और प्रोडक्ट के कांस्टेंट होने का मतलब इफ वन वैल्यू विल इंक्रीज द अदर वैल्यू विल डिक्रीज, एंड सिमिलरली इफ y विल इंक्रीज x विल डिक्रीज, और x इंक्रीज करेगा तो y डिक्रीज. मतलब वो एक दूसरे को कंपनसेट करते हुए चलेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, let's say if y into x is equals to, so what could be the possible values? Values would be 1 into 10, values would be 2 into 5. You can see if one value is decreasing, the other value is increasing, है ना. this is what means this relation की y into x अगर constant है. So such type of functions form rectangular hyperbola, and this graph looks like these graphs look like, this is your y axis This is your x-axis, and the graph starts from here and it goes something like that. And it is also made towards the negative axis, which is something like this. And you can see, if you are decreasing value of x, the value of y is increasing. And one thing also that you can see, that if you have made y 0, so there could not be any solution for x, which is because आप अब 0 में x का मल्टीप्लाई करके 10 ला ही नहीं सकते हो. That is why they never intersect to the axis. So please remember this, that these graphs are not touching on these axes at any point. They seems to be going till infinity. Graph do not intersect any axis. वो किसी भी एक्सिस को इंटरसेक्ट नहीं कर रहा है. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट एवरीवन? So this was the point that I want to make. So you should like remember this very carefully. Then these axes are called as the asymptotes. The word is asymptotes, which means the axis seems to be intersecting graph at infinity. मतलब कि आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि वो इन्फिनिटी पर जाकर एक दूसरे को इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है. हैव यू गॉट द पॉइंट? एवरीवन? Great. The last point is, if you have a function which is not of this form, which is y into x is constant, but it is of this form, that y raised to power n, x raised to power m is constant. For example, y square x cube. For example, y raised to power 3, x raised to power 5 is constant. Then also the shape of graph would be same. And this is because in these cases also, let's consider one case. Let's consider that the value of y square and x cube we have as constant. So in these cases also you can think that if we decrease some value of x, the value of y has to increase to remain this product as constant. इस प्रोडक्ट को कांस्टेंट रखने के लिए y को इंक्रीज होना पड़ेगा if you are decreasing x, and if you are decreasing y तो x को इंक्रीज होना पड़ेगा. That means the kind of relation they have with each other is similar, है ना. उसे हम सेम तो नहीं बोल सकते, but that is kind of similar. that if one decreases, the other increases, and this is what is shown through these graphs. Have you got the point? Everyone, please answer. So this was all from my side in this lecture. I hope you have understood how to make like any kind of graph, and I hope now you are comfortable and you can draw like any kind of shapes that will be required in physics for NEET, JEE or your school exams. This was all from my side in this lecture. Thank you so much for watching.